As you can see, I'm in the streets of Atlanta. People are upset about what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing to our country. When you see something you don't like as an American, you can say something about it. That's your constitutionally protected right. And that's what hundreds of people are doing here in Atlanta. They're speaking up against the injustices and the things that are happening in the country. You want to hop in?
Hey!
What made you decide to come out?
Because this is bullshit and we deserve better.
Exactly. So if you see something going on in our country that you don't like, speak up, use your voice. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are firing workers at the CDC, the people who are supposed to protect us. They're firing people who do cancer research. They're firing IRS agents in the middle of tax season. Also, the Trump tax, and they're alienating our allies with these tariffs. How do you alienate the people who you're supposed to be collaborating with and working with? It's ridiculous and something has to be done. So we're taking a stand against oligarchy, taking a stance against Trump, taking a stance against Elon.
Here's a live look at Boston, Massachusetts now as we check back in on one of our top stories, anti-Trump protests taking place across the country today after a tumultuous week, to say the least, on Wall Street and the economy. We want to point out, just a few minutes ago, we did show you a protest. We said it was Boston. It was not Boston. It was an unrelated protest. But what you are looking at right now is Boston, and I'm from there. I can recognize this. This is the plaza right outside of City Hall.
Let me pause my movie. Let me just point out, of all of the over 1,200 protests we done seen, right? They're saying over a few million people have participated in protests across the nation. Let me just say that out of all of these protests, I have not seen not one person getting tear gassed. I have not seen anybody getting womp womp with the batons. I have not seen any lines of the SWAT team lined up approaching people that are marching the streets. As a matter of fact, I heard that in Dallas, the police shut down the roads to allow the people to walk over there where the JFK incident happened, the grassy knoll and the depository. Yeah, they shut down the streets to allow the protests to continue, to allow the people to walk on down them roads. So when you hear black people saying, the ones who decided to protest in other ways, like protesting by not being on the front lines, remember that this is why. Had it not been majority white people marching, would that have still been the outcome? Like, serious question. And don't lie, you know the answer. And this is why we said that this wasn't for us. It is okay that some people went. Okay, that's fine. But it is great that majority of us stayed home and watched TV, while simultaneously having already been doing protesting through other avenues, because y'all act like marching is the only way to protest. Just remember, this is why the outcome would have been very different, and we all know it. And if we're being real, it's not our jobs. It is not our jobs to dismantle white Christian nationalism and white supremacy. We didn't create it, bitch. We did not create it. We don't benefit from it. So it's not our jobs to dismantle. It has to be dismantled from within by the very people that created it and benefit from it inherently. That's them same people marching. As you should. I'm so happy. I'm so happy y'all showed the fuck up while we sat the fuck down.
I wanted to make sure that we have something for people to sort of take their frustration out, because we're all frustrated, and there's nothing better than throwing a shoe. I'm from Iraq, and this is what we do when we get mad at someone. And the idea that someone like Elon Musk has been basically running the show, a neo-Nazi with white supremacist leanings, a South African, a colonist who thinks that it's okay for him to go around and do Nazi salutes in front of people, and making decisions by willy-nilly firing people left and right. People are frustrated and angry. He's a billionaire. He could care less. He loses a couple $1 billion. Not a big deal to him. But for a lot of people, it makes a huge difference.
I'm a U.S. citizen. I mean, how much more privilege can you get? And I feel I've got to use that privilege, because there are people who are dying with my bombs paid for by my government, and I can't I have to do something every single day to do something about that. Otherwise, I'm not a human being.
I know I was targeted for my pro-Palestine activism. I know they're coming after us. They're cracking down on us, but they're not trying to effectively destroy us. They're trying to be cruel, to make a spectacle of it. Because at the end of the day, cruelty is the point. They want us to be afraid. They want us to stand down. They want us to prematurely obey the orders we think they are going to pass, when in fact we should continue to live as a free people until they attempt to stop us with force.
I'm tired of waiting for the Democratic establishment to step up and do something and depending on that, because they're clearly not. I'm tired of seeing this country fund a genocide in Palestine. I'm tired of seeing all of our resources being taken out of education and healthcare and women's rights. I am also part of the queer community, and I'm tired of seeing my community be attacked.
We are a nation in crisis. I'm 56 years old, and for the first time in my life, and definitely my adult life, America is just, there's what we say we are, and then there's the reality of how we're behaving, and the dissonance is just beyond anything I've experienced before. And I remain in shock that we're a country that could have sent this man back to office after everything that occurred. January 6th, COVID, I'm amazed by.
Reporting live from my sofa in the United States of embarrassment. Except today, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I want to briefly discuss the comments on my last video. There were a lot of white women and even some white men who said, relax, have a seat, rest. We got this. We got this. And I don't think a lot of you understand the volume and the magnitude of comments like that. And those of you get it, right? You get why Black women are tired. You get why people of color are tired for protesting their entire existence, fighting for their entire existence. And when we had an opportunity to come together, we felt disappointed. But now, over 1 million people gathered in cities across the world, even outside of America, to say the same thing. And while the Cheeto-flavored penis potato is in Florida, golfing on the taxpayer's dime, we are fighting for change. And if this is not an indication of how fucked up this entire situation is, I fear that if you don't understand that, something is wrong with you. Like mentally, you need to go and get checked out. I want to show you something though. Look at these crowds. Look at these crowds. These are record-breaking numbers of everyone coming together in alliance for the same thing. The same thing. The math is not mathing from the election, right? The math is not mathing. So we know what that means. But what it also means is that you are not alone. It also means that even if you feel like the people close to you don't understand, these people do. So find a circle, find people, find substance, find creators that are on the same page in an alliance with you. And find your hope, and find your joy, and find your fire, and fight. And fight. And the reason why I say that is because I know what that looks like from my ancestors. I know what that looks like from my ancestors. So as a Black woman who at times searched and yearned and wanted acceptance and validation in a world that didn't understand me, or in environments that didn't understand me or didn't deserve me, and I didn't know my worth just because of the cards that I was dealt with or because of the choices that I made based on other people's happiness, I am here to tell you, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to rest. Because we are all so tired, but we will not give up. And as always, I will be available to provide you with breaking good news to outweigh the bad.
What's up, Atlanta? Y'all, we back outside. having a conversation with over 20,000 people in the city of Atlanta, making sure that our rights are protected. So we continue to say hands off. We're going to continue to organize. Y'all still have time to come on out here.
The police have shut down the streets in Dallas. We're in Dealey Plaza, and the police have shut down the road, and people are walking back and forth because it's literally too crowded on each side. Over there is where the grassy knoll is. Yeah, here. Over there is the grassy knoll. Up here is where there's a big monument for JFK and a fountain, and that's where the speakers are speaking, but it's actually quite hard to hear them. And then over here on the other side, it's just another median and some more art up there. But all the way around here is totally full, and the police have shut down the road, which is cool. Go Dallas. Dallas showing up, y'all. Hands off, motherfuckers.
This is inspiring. So there are hundreds and thousands of Americans protesting Donald Trump and Elon Musk across the country. Let's go through some of these pictures because the crowds are massive. So here is Boston, Massachusetts. Here is Nashville, Tennessee. Here is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here is Providence, Rhode Island. Here is Madison, Wisconsin. Here is Salt Lake City, Utah. Here is Chicago, Illinois. Here is Lansing, Michigan. Here is the Minnesota State Capitol. And here is Louisville, Kentucky. And guys, this is not just happening in the places I showed you. It's happening in every state. And these are huge crowds of people spending their Saturday protesting the Trump administration. And it shows other countries across the world that there are a ton of us who are just as upset as they are about what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing to America and the rest of the world. I love these protests. Keep them.
Just got back from the protest that I went to with my 12-year-old. His request, I was going to go. He asked to go with me. But I have to say, if you're feeling helpless and hopeless and angry and frustrated and like there's nothing you can do, go out to a protest. It felt so good to be around so many people that are on the same page. Like as soon as we got close enough to see how big the crowd was, my 12-year-old, his face broke into the biggest grin and he was like, oh wow, there's a lot of people. And we were out there and both of us said repeatedly like this was such a good idea. It was a rush of euphoria, and there was a lot of support from people driving by, and more protesters showed up, and it's raining, and it's 43 degrees here, and there was still hundreds of people in our small town. So get out there. It does help.